everyone, what's going on? Welcome to 2 Minutes to Review. It's Matt.
And it's Zach.
We do all sorts of album reviews on this show. Longest album review in under 2 minutes wins. Normally we do new albums, but like I said, we do all sorts of albums, and this time we're throwing it back to an album that is coming upon a very significant date.
Can you believe it? 35 years since U2 released arguably their groundbreaking, astonishing album, The Joshua Tree. Up until that point, the band was already being praised upon critically. They were already being called the next biggest thing. And here comes an album, The Joshua Tree, that pretty much cemented their status as music royalty, that confirmed, no, all the hype about them was real.
Right, and even so much so that this album's been re-released twice, I believe, and back in 2014, it was selected for preservation in the U.S. National Recording Registry.
Holy cow.
Because it's been deemed as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress. So, yeah, I mean, that's really all that you have to know is that this is a very, very good album.
Yeah.
And
just acclaimed album. Forget good or not. Like, it's just a game changer album, I think, in many ways.
And one of the things that I want to say just before we get into the reviews, and obviously you can have an idea of where this is going already. But
spoiler.
But I had the chance a couple of years ago, and by a couple of years ago, I mean 2019. My God, it's already been that long. That my wife and I, we went out to California, and we actually got to go to Joshua Tree National Park. And I was like, being the lame-o that I am, I'm like, oh, let's listen to the Joshua Tree in Joshua Tree. But one of the things that you need to understand about this album and Joshua Tree National Park is that they both have this very vast feeling about them. Like when you go into Joshua Tree National Park, it's very flat, very open. There's rolling hills, and it really just feels like, and you know, not to pun on anything, but it really feels like you're in God's country when you're in the national park. And just listening to the expanse that U2 got on this album in conjunction with driving through that national park, it really makes for a very special listening experience. And not just because it's the namesake album of the park, or the park is the namesake, whatever I'm trying to say, is that just because the album is named Joshua Tree and that you're driving through the park, it's not that one really has anything to do with the other. It's just, it feels like the two are meant to go together. So if you ever had the chance to do it, or if you have done it and you're a lame-o like me, let me know in the comments below what you thought. I'm very curious.
Well, before we both take 2 minutes or less, quote unquote, we're going to try. Fair warning, if it goes over, we're not promising this episode is going to be 2 minutes, so stop complaining.
We're already over 2 minutes.
Over 2 minutes, sorry. But before we start revisiting this album or reviews, a quick special shout out to Lucky 13 Beard Co.
If you've never tried beard bombs or oils before, you're really missing out on making yourself look, feel, and smell the best that you can. And with our new collaboration with Ed from Lucky 13, we put out a very special beard oil commemorating Lemmy of Motorhead. And it really is an embodiment of everything that Lemmy was all about. Whiskey, cola, tobacco, leather. It smells epic. See what it did there? But if you've ever been curious to try beard bombs and oils before, and you really want to get in strong, this is how you do it. You get a bottle of Lemmy, you put it in your cart, you click in the promo code, and you type in EFP10 when you're checking out, get 10% off of your order. You really can't beat it. So Lucky13, the number, beardco.com. Lucky13, the number, beardco.com. Put the Lemmy in your cart, EFP10 at checkout. You'll be good to go.
Matt, this is going to really surprise you.
You want to go first?
I'm going to go first. I don't want to. I'm going to go first. Sorry.
New Year, same Zach.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
So let's be real. It's very easy to forget how special U2 is. Bono, depending on your views, can be, even if you agree with what he's saying politically, he can be kind of annoying. He can be a little obnoxious, and it's easy to forget how amazing his voice is. And it's easy to forget how songs like Where the Streets Have No Name, I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, and With or Without You, how incredible they are, because they've been played so much. But the truth is, they are such great songs. And there's a reason why they're constantly played on radio or in TV commercials or everywhere you go. And it's also just easy to forget how incredible Bono's voice sounds on these songs and sounds on this album. The second you hear him, you know it's Bono, you know it's him, and you know it's U2. But even more so than that, when you hear songs like In God's Country and One Tree Hill and even Bullet for the Blue Sky, you forget how incredible and how revolutionary The Edge is. His guitar work, the way he takes the instrument and creates different sounds from it, and then he still makes it sound so amazing with Larry Mullen, his rhythm. It complements Bono's voice. It really is astonishing, and you kind of understand why at the time how this album stood out so much and how even today it is still such a great masterpiece.
And scene. Star rating out of 5.
Out of 5, this might sound surprising, but I'm going to go with only a 4-star.
Okay.
Admittedly, because I kind of forget how great this album is sometimes because it's so overplayed that you kind of like, you know what? I've already heard this. I don't need to come back to it. So it definitely has lost its shine over the years just because of that, but only by that 1-star point. You can complain about U2 all you want. You can argue that some of their albums are crap. You can argue that they're annoying or that they're overhyped. But then you listen to an album like Joshua Tree, and it's really hard to make that argument. Truth be told, there's a few different album anniversaries from U2 happening in 2022. There's a reason why we're only focusing on Joshua Tree. This album is so phenomenal that this could have been their only album, and they still probably would have been a legendary band. 1987, also Guns N' Roses came out with their landmark debut album, Appetite for Destruction. But it was their first album, so that was a different kind of surprise. Very rarely is there a band that has a few albums out already, they're building a critical acclaim, but then to release an album that literally confirmed what everyone was saying about them in a way. Mm-hmm. You can argue that Metallica kind of had that honestly, you can't even say that with the Black Album because depending on who you talk to, they hated the Black Album. Like, bands have had breakthrough successes, but then they've had fans who go, ugh. There's never been an album that just made everyone go, okay, yeah, you're right. And you can argue that this is that album. Very few, rarely. Very few bands have had that.
Okay.
Very few. Both critical and commercially have had that. But I digress. Matt, are you ready? Or are you still haven't found what you're looking for to say for this album review?
I'm still really
I'm proud of that pun. I'm proud of that pun. I'm keeping it. 3, 2, 1, go.
So, yes, this album has been drilled into my head since working in radio. It's hard not to and not hear any of the original, songs that they released as singles with Streets of No Name. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. But like I mentioned earlier, when driving through one of the places in America that inspired the album, because U2 really was looking at America from two different standpoints. They're looking at America from the mythic America and what the real America was. And one of the things about the real America is you get to see all the geography of America, the desert, the rain, the dust, and everything that makes America what it is without all of the other hype behind it and all of the other things that people build it up to be. You get to see the salt of the earth, and that's really what U2 did on this album. They really explored a sound space, and like Zach mentioned, with The Edge and the sounds that he's able to create and the feelings that they're able to get on, like Where the Streets Have No Name, Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, even Bullet the Blue Sky. I mean, you really do feel like that this is a very open, vast, expansive album. And with Bono being the sole lyricist on the album, it really shows that he took the time, put all of himself into this album, and it really shines through and it feels real. And it really does feel like they captured that part of what real America is all about on here. And just for it to still be able to hold a candle to what the initial intent was years later, after it being drilled into everybody's head over extensive radio play, really shows how strong of an album this is and how much U2 can live on in this album.
Time locked in.
All right. I'm going to give it a 4-star too.
Out of 5?
Yeah, out of 5. The reinvigoration of this, like I mentioned earlier, said a couple times, is going through Joshua Tree and experiencing this album in Joshua Tree National Park, and it's really seeing what U2 was actually looking at when they were coming up with concepts for the album and when Bono was writing for the album. It's just so... It takes you to a different perspective because, we can sit here and argue music all day long and what the intent of people's messages are, but to actually experience and get to walk through and see that park, those feelings, that just vast expanse, and how Edge can create the soundscapes that almost match and mirror the landscape when you're there. It's really an eerie feeling, and it really captures what the band was going for. There's no doubt in my mind that this is a great album, but the other part of me, when I was doing this with my wife, it was like, well, do I really want to hear I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For again?
Yeah, that is overplayed to a certain point.
To a certain point. I mean, it's one of the few songs that you can find on a rock radio station. You could find it on a light listening radio station, on a classic radio station. It's just one of those songs that expands. Once again, that expanse that they're looking at, it expands like genres. Yeah. For lack of a better way to say it.
I mean, in one way, it's almost kind of nice that we challenge ourselves because I don't think otherwise I would have revisited it just for that point. I don't have to go far to hear it. Yeah. But on the other hand, I'm kind of glad we forced ourselves to listen to it because we said, you take for granted how great the band really is.
Right. And taking a step back from, it's on radio, it's here in front of me again. Yeah. Taking back and just listening to it with another perspective and another... without it being forced upon you. Yeah. I want to listen to this. I'm listening to this now because I'm here and I want to experience it here. Yeah. That took away some of that tarnish radio has put on these songs for me.
Damn you, radio. With that said, you know what, though? None of that really matters. You know what matters?
I was going to make a pun, but that was Queen. Nothing really matters.
Different episode.
Oh, yeah.
The Times. Not Morris Day. Morris Day and the Times definitely matter. But
anyone can see because they're right in front of me.
Matt, what was my time?
You clocked in at a cool 1 minute and 27 seconds. Yeah. For you, that is monumental.
That is actually monumental. Unfortunately, that monumental moment did not help me. Because, sir, the point is that you have to get the longest review in under 2 minutes. And congratulations, sir. You did it at 1 minute and 53 seconds.
Boom.
Congratulations. Screw you.
Like I said, I'm good at this game.
Look at me. I can talk in under 2 minutes.
Well, when that's the point of the episode, thank you. I'll take it.
Look at me. I'm getting the point of the episode. Well, anyway, do you agree or disagree with our revisiting of the Joshua Tree? Or just Joshua Tree, I guess. I don't know. Do you agree, disagree with us? Let us know what you think. At Epic Footnote, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm sure there's another social media platform that we don't even know we're on. Let us know what you think. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear more podcasts like this, as well as some other really cool videos. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you also so much for Lucky 13 Beard Co. Again, go to lucky13beardco.com. Use the code EFP10 to get 10% off of your purchases, including a Lemmy-inspired beard oil that we helped create. Also, thank you to Rootless Coffee, based out of Flint, Michigan. They really create some interesting, creative flavors of coffee blends, collaborations of other artists, including us sometimes. Use the code EPICROAST at checkout to receive 15% off of your coffee orders. Thank you, Rootless. Thank you, Lucky 13 Beard Co. And thank you all for listening. Hope you found what you're looking for. Tune in again real soon.
With you, not without you.